Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Now, I want you to follow this entire video until the end because we're going to cover a lot of things here that just may change your mind about planet Mars and why we are visiting this planet so much, why we are sending so many rovers and satellites and orbiters, and now the new Mars helicopter, which was sent to the planet along with the rover that carried it. The rover, which goes by the name Perseverance, carried this helicopter, also known as the Ingenuity Mars helicopter. So as you're seeing in this beautiful image here, I'll just let you watch for a second as the heat shield is blown off, and what you're seeing is the actual rover and helicopter itself attached, making its way down via parachute to the surface of Mars before finally coming to a stop. Alright, and here you are seeing some of the still frames taken where the rover is now detaching from the helicopter. It's like a little mini drone, actually. The helicopter drops down, detaches, and then the rover backs up and captures the very first test flight on video, which is the big news right now. And again, watch this whole video because I'm almost 100% certain as to why they are now not only sending rover after rover and satellite after satellite, but also this new helicopter, and you just may be too after this video's over. So here is the new video of the test flight of this helicopter, just a quick test to see that it can move up, fly, hover, and not crash and burn right away. And almost right off the bat, you see in the distance, and this only comes up in separate frames, so this is not a speck on the lens or anything like that, but it appears as if right away, right as the drone is deployed from the rover, we can see something in the distance in this official NASA still image that appears almost to be something possibly flying by or sitting static in the air from a distance, monitoring this new landing of this helicopter. And so you're looking at this high-resolution photo here, and as we zoom in up to the left, we can see what looks to be something way in the distance. Now, could it be a speck of dust? Possibly. However, this is after the rover had landed. Dust had settled, and as you will see, we have another frame found by another YouTuber that would appear to show the same object only at a different angle, where you can see more of the object rather than possibly what we saw in the earlier frame of the object maybe on its side. But as you're seeing here from the next frame, we can see a much more detailed image of whatever this thing is. Yes, it's still blurry, and you'll get that at such a distance, but it's triangular. This object actually seems to have some color to it as well. You can see some reds in there, some blacks, some greens possibly, but it almost looks like something is flying, and turning, because Mars does have an atmosphere. So, was this rover landing being monitored? NASA and the government would not just use taxpayer money up into the trillions of dollars, sending rover after rover, space probe after space probe to Mars, and helicopters for a look at the scenery. There's no need for a helicopter unless they are looking for something. So let's first start out showing evidence of a basic civilization. Okay, we'll just say in the past. And this here is one of my favorite pieces of evidence because it shows what looks like the foundation of a perfect square building that at one time was built on planet Mars, now mere ruins covered in sand. And as you can see with a little bit of contrast, because NASA they like to play a little game when they upload their official images. They like to change the contrast and the brightness and the color of these photographs to hide things, to hide anomalies. But as you can see, this is a square. It's pretty self-explanatory. You want to tell me that this came from nature itself and that this doesn't look like... How many builders do we have watching this video right now? Tell me that doesn't look like a foundation. So let's move on. We also have circular foundations found around the planet. Rocks put together, forming perfect circles. Here's another one of my favorites. This is called the engine because amongst the sand and rocks and pebbles, we see this object that looks somewhat like a part of an engine. It's got a circular tube coming out of the side, totally sticks out. Now for some even more devastating evidence. Comes from satellite images of planet Mars, of the so-called Mars monolith. What you are seeing was captured directly from a satellite orbiting Mars, snapping high-res pictures, and you're seeing the image enlarged 3 times here. You can see it. You can see it's square. You can see that it's got some height to it. We see the elongated shadow, and we can also see that it's basically in the middle of nowhere. Now, speaking of monoliths, we've also spoken on this channel in other videos about a very mysterious moon of Mars called Phobos. And again, guys, if you're new to the channel, go to my videos and just search my videos for certain terms like Phobos, Mars, and you'll get all of my videos on those different topics. So here is yet another monolith, this time found on this little potato-shaped moon circling Mars, where we see yet again another structure sticking out like a sore thumb, nothing else around it. And it looks like the monolith from the film 2001: Space Odyssey. It's an amazing photograph. NASA cannot explain these things. Moving on, we have evidence of not only structures, but possible machinery to build said structures or to do mining of some sort. Another favorite image of what I call the crane. And you can go back and check my past videos where we focus strictly on this strange moon called Phobos. So here is the Phobos crane, as it's called. And as you can see, it doesn't look like it belongs. We can see this square or rectangular structure coming up from the ground, casting a shadow with what looks like an arm coming out of it. Here are some close-ups and some different colors and contrasts. You know, this thing could be drilling for something, mining for something. This could be a craft of some sort. We don't know. A building, a base. Your guess is as good as mine. But the image itself and the object itself, whatever it is, it's artificial. I mean, it's common sense. These images I'm showing you, you don't have to know exactly what they are. The mere fact that there are artificial structures and official NASA images on these planets and moons is evidence in itself that there is something we're not being told, and why we're now sending rovers and helicopters to further surveil what is really on Mars. We have what look like possible more buildings or a base of some kind. This structure found on Google Earth, again, using map and imagery from satellites around Mars, where we see what looks like a string of buildings or just one long building with smaller buildings surrounding it or other buildings protruding from it. And this is not a glitch or something like that. I've studied satellite imagery from NASA for years. I know what glitches look like, and they don't look like this. This is an object down on the surface. Now tell me that doesn't look like some sort of building complex or a base. Now going quickly here, a few more things. Evidence of construction, another favorite. I mean, might as well say they're all my favorites. We have what is known as the Mars tomb. It sort of looks like a keyhole or an exclamation point, but it's, again, in the middle of nowhere, sharp geometric shapes, and is identical to the Kufun-era tombs of Japan that were built right around 300 BC or so. Here you're seeing a side-by-side comparison with the Mars image to the left and an image from Japan of one of these tombs, these massive megaliths that, to me, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They look identical. So now, if we can prove that there's construction, then there has to be life. Well, we have the infamous image of the Walker on Mars, probably one of the most famous Mars anomaly images ever snapped by one of the rovers. You would have never seen it when they found what looked like, and what looks to me and what I believe to be, a man's figure. Obviously, I don't know if it's a man or an alien or what, but we see a head, we see an arm, we see the back, we see the legs as if it's walking. NASA tried to say this was a rock. I've never seen a rock like this. And not only do we have evidence of what could be beings, like in this image, that stand upright and walk, we also have imagery of what look like and what could be organisms on Mars of a lower intelligence, as seen in this famous image here that we revealed a year or two back. Yet another image snapped by one of the rovers of a rocky cliff, but as you'll notice, right in the middle of these rocks, as they come to a point, we see a strange circular object with sort of an orange color sticking out or grasping on. And as we zoomed in, we found what has now become known as the Mars crab. And this thing is freaky. I mean, it's clear. This is not a rock. This is not a part of any of the rock structures surrounding it. This thing has legs or tentacles coming out, gripping onto the rocks, sitting there in the shade, and the rover caught it. And so lastly, we also have evidence of bones scattered across the planet. We have images such as this of a very human-like looking skull, but with some little differences sticking up out of the sand. You can see the top of the skull, the two eyes, the nose, and what look like two large objects down where the chin area is. Here we have another object that just doesn't blend. It sort of reminds me of one of the helmets from the Aliens films or the Prometheus film. But yet again, it does look strange. Here we have another image that many believe shows yet another skull partially sticking up out of the sand. We see the nose, we see the orbital areas, the eye areas, the skull, and there are even images of what look like full skeletons found in rover photos scattered around the planet, as you're seeing in this one. This is a more frequent one that was found that does look like skeletal remains. Now, can I be sure? 100%? Of course not. But you look at it, you tell me, because to me, you know, it looks very similar to human skeletons that are dug up or found still intact here on Earth. Looks very, very similar. So this is just a handful of images I've just shown you, from buildings and structures on Mars, to machinery or ships that could be mining on Mars, to megaliths and monoliths, evidence of beings or creatures on the planet, skeletal remains, and, of course, the mysterious objects in the skies that potentially are observing our rovers and will be observing this helicopter as it will now be flying over the surface of the planet. So, with that, guys, you tell me what you think. Thank you again for all of your support. By the way, we have new merch out. We have Secure Team face masks. They're awesome. We have shirts, hoodies. Check out the links below. Our Patreon is back up. If you want to support us monthly for $1 or $5 or $10, I'll even send you an autographed sticker. You can throw it on your laptop. I get fan photos all the time of people showing me their stickers. So, you know, everything you guys do to support this channel has been amazing over these past 7 or 8 years. So, again, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you back soon with another video. And as always, stay safe.